Hey there, and welcome back to our Elden Ring lore playthrough. Now, we're moving on, I'd say moving on from the capital, but there's things we need to do kind of there. We're primarily going to be doing some things in the sewers now. But we have to go check in with a number of things. We got to tie up some stuff before we really dive into it. And one of the first things we need to do is give these prayer books over to Muriel. Right, we have several to give. Two Fingers prayer book. It's just a contrivance. Everything can be conjoined. All right. So incantations. What do we got? Lord's Seal. Incantation bestowed by the Two Fingers upon the tarnished, deemed worthy of becoming Lord. Tarnished, O tarnished, seek the Erd Tree and stand before Marika, its queen. Become the Elden Lord. The Lord's Aid. Incantation bestowed by the Two Fingers upon the tarnished, deemed worthy of becoming a Lord. Alleviates the buildup of poison, blood loss, and sleep for the caster and nearby allies. Additionally, cures poison. It's pretty cool. Only costs 12. I might pick that up. Now what do we have? We have Radagon's Rings of Light and the Law of Regression. So the Rings of Light, one of the incantations of the Golden Order fundamentalists. A gift of gratitude to the young Miquella from his father, Radagon. It produces a golden ring of light and fires it across a wide area. Charging enhances range. And yet, the young Miquella abandoned fundamentalism, for it could do nothing to treat millennia's accursed rot. This was the beginning of unalloyed gold. So, Miquella was a fundamentalist, right? And he gave that ring of light to his father Radagon as a gift. Now, it was like, okay, well, why did he give the gift? Who knows? Like, maybe it's just a kind of experiment thing. We know that Miquella does like to make things, right? And then this is a gift of gratitude to Miquella from his father, right? Maybe it revealed some like truth to him, so he decided to give it back to him, show him another like aspect of it or something, right? And because Miquella is his son. But even though like they were gazing and going into the truth of the order, like that where the Erd Tree is the center of it, Miquella abandons it because he cared about his sister, and his sister had rot, and it just would not fix, like nothing would cure it, and that's the beginning of an unalloyed gold. Now, why is that important? Because then we get the unalloyed needle, the unalloyed gold needle that we use to quell the rot in Millicent. So this was the first step of a journey that Miquella took in order to be able to forge things like that, or that other bewitching branch, a tree branch, blessed with an incantation of unalloyed gold. Pierce a foe, turning FP into a temporary ally. The Empyrean Miquella is loved by many, and indeed he's learned very well how to compel such affection. Now look at the symbol on this thing. It's got 5 upward-facing branches come off on a main, trunk. Is just like the symbol we saw on the staff wielded by the putrid avatars, the ones afflicted by scarlet rot. The extension goes to Millennia and then to Miquella. So somehow they have ties in with him. Is it because they were simply afflicted by rot? They didn't show up until the Shattering either, so it's a fairly, new thing, right? And then the Law of Regression, one of the key fundamentals. It heals all negative statuses, dispels special effects, and reveals mimicry in all its forms. The fundamentalists describe the Golden Order through the powers of regression and causality. Regression is a pool of meaning that all things yearn eternally to converge. A lot of words in there, right? Regression and causality are the big things, though. They describe the Golden Order through those powers. Dispels all kinds of things, right? Brings it back to some base level. All things converging together. 37 faith, it's just 37 intelligence. I have all of 9, unfortunately. But we need to cast it, because we need it for that statue. Radagon's closet, right? So, there is a way for us to do this. Renala. We're going to have to respec, get a bunch of intelligence, cast a spell, and then change ourselves back. Alright, here we are. Where's my spell? Oh, I can't use that. I can't use that seal. I can't use any of them because I don't have enough faith at all. There we go. Alright, we're going to cast it now. Ready? Reveals a statue of Marika. There's our sign. Radagon is America. It's a super enigmatic thing, right? And one of the big, I would say one of the big like talking points, discussion, controversial ideas of the whole like kind of lore community, because it's just like, what does it mean by that, right? Like what are they even talking about, right? Like how, what? And there are all kinds of ideas. I have my own ideas as well, right? First, we're gonna go get this item. Bolt of Grandsax. A spear whittled from the weapon wielded by Grandsax, one of legendary armaments. A great ancient dragon, Grandsax once reigned calamity upon the royal capital, the only time in historical record that Lanedel's walls have fallen. This marked the dawn of the war against the ancient dragons, and it's got an ancient dragon lightning spear. Imbues with the ancient dragon's red lightning, then throw it as a spear. Super cool weapon. Very excited to get it when I got it for the first time. All right, but what does it mean by Radagon is America? So, this is going to start diving into, I don't know. I kind of want to do a whole separate video thing talking about it, and then like let us kind of discover as we go here, because I have all kinds of thoughts about it a little bit, you know, and I just, yeah, man, it's such a weird thought, right? And it's also like, if Radagon is America, and Radagon doesn't want people to know that, right? Because it was a secret glimpsed, right, by the sculptor. And what's one of the Golden Order like fundamentalist spells is regression, which reveals illusions, right? So like, why? I mean, the very tools that he had were used to like uncover his secret. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But even then, like, who's to say exactly, right? All right, we're back, bud. Tell him that Radagon is America. Golden Order totality. Okay, now what do you have to say?
What on earth did you do to the Master? Well, not that I'm complaining. Master's finger moves again, resuming his cogitation. More than good enough for me. I haven't the words to thank you. So I'd like to pass this on to you instead. A glimpse into the heart of the Golden Order. Documented by yours truly.
Okay. Study incantations. Oh, there it is. Immutable shield. One of the incantations, blah, 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 blah. Enchanted shield held in the left hand with the light of regression, right? Increasing all forms of non-physical damage negation and ailment resistance. Two concepts form the basis for the Golden Order fundamentalism. One is the law of regression, to which this incantation relates. Okay, and that's what we use to get to this point. 13,000 runes, so. All right. About Noble Gold Mask.
To think that Radagon was Marika herself, or at least such is all I can interpret from the rhythm and calculus of his finger. How would such a thing even have been possible, I wonder?
Right.
Sadly, I cannot comprehend it myself. Do you have a fuller understanding of the matter? Well, either way, I can continue my documentation. In truth, it matters very little whether I understand the Master's thoughts or not. I am merely his scribe. It is my sole and unwavering purpose.
Right, so here's one of my first thoughts that I had, right? Because we have some clues, ideas that could maybe point to like how it's possible, right? Because like, how would it be possible if they're the same person? You could maybe somehow argue that Marika can willfully change herself into a dude. That's fine. I mean, it's a god. It's a fantasy game. Like, whatever. That's totally within the realm of belief. I can believe that. Easy, right? And then she goes and marries Renala. And at that point, you know, she has the kids there. And that would explain how those children are actually demigods. Because how are they demigods if Radagon's not actually a god and Renala's not actually a god, right? Doesn't really track there. So that would explain a bit there. I did call them demigod stepchildren, right? So, whatever. And so then eventually, Radagon gets called back to the capital to be the new Elden Lord, right? And king consort to Marika. So maybe they were just like, all right, Marika, you're done messing around. We need you to come back. And so that's when she decides to just come back and leave, right? But then you have the question of her next children, the twin prodigies, Millennia and Mikola. How did that happen? I mean, again, kind of a god. I guess they could do all kinds of crazy things if we're leaning into like Zeus ideas, right? Like, was it Athena is like burst from his head, right? Just like cracked open and out she came. You know, so there are some ideas there, right? And they're both kind of cursed, it would seem. But then also, it's not like he went back there and then Radagon disappeared and it was just Marika again, because Mikola is giving gifts to his father, Radagon. So how is that tying up, right? Like, where's mom? You know, where's the description there? But we do have another set of armor that could kind of explain it or give a possible answer to it, right? The twin helm. The Darian and Darius, maybe? The two known as D are inseparable twins. 2 bodies, 2 minds, but 1 single soul. So maybe that's kind of the same situation here, right? They set up the precipice that this could be a thing. So you have Radagon and Marika, and they are of 2 bodies, 2 minds, but of a singular soul. And is how they're able to find acceptance in the Golden Order. Because Radagon is that exact same thing. That's how he found that, you know, belonging. So to me, that's kind of like the easy answer, like that makes the most sense to me. Just that right there, right? And which then makes some of the, you know, them having children and stuff a bit weird, right? Because they're essentially brother and sister, but on like another level or something. But again, it's kind of godhood thing. It's also J.R.R. G.R.R. Martin and stuff, like whatever. So yeah, that's my thought there. There is another thought I have. This one gets a little more outlandish, right? Okay, so brace yourself a little bit here, right? There is the item called the Mimic's Veil, also known as Marika's Mischief. It's an item that Godric uses to escape from the capital when the shattering happened, and he used it to get out of there. So, I mean, granted, she doesn't have it, but why is it called Marika's Mischief, right? Because she's using mimic veils and illusions and things to cause mischief, to cause problems, to hide, etc., right? So, now we've established that idea, that she's using that to shift herself around, create illusions, rearrange what she appears to be, right? So then that's how she ends up pretending to be somebody else called Radagon, and she goes off to mess around with Renala. Now she comes back. Radagon is recalled back to the capital to become Elden Lord or King Consort to the Queen. But then you get the problem of more children. So where are these other children coming from? How are they being born? Where is the other half of the equation, right? So what if there is another person, not even somebody in particular or special necessarily, right? Somebody who basically provides a donation, I guess you might say, to these children, to make, you know, to have children. And then later on down the road, they start saying, you know, basically, you know, saying, actually, Marika is Radagon. Radagon is Marika. They're the same person. Also, I'm the father for Millennia and Mikola and stuff. And what is his reward? He is imprisoned and punished for the crime of slander. I'm, of course, talking about Shabriri. Disturbing likeness of a man whose eyes have been gouged out. The corners of his mouth are upturned in an almost flirtatious manner. Constantly attracts enemies' aggression. It is said that the man, named Shabriri, had his eyes gouged out as punishment for the crime of slander, and with time, the blight of the flame of frenzy came to dwell in the empty sockets. So, I mean, that's a bit more of an outlandish thing, right? I do like the idea. I don't know necessarily that, like, that's what it could be, but I like the idea that he, you know, flirtatious manner, right? Like, why would they say, like, in a flirtatious manner? So I like the idea that somehow he, a little more scandalous stuff was going on, right? And then Maybe that's why his eyes got gouged out. He was looking at the wrong person. Maybe he caught some glimpse of the secret, you know, was Radagon America and stuff, you know, and that's what happened there. You know, there's thoughts to be had there. Found myself the guilty hood. I've been wondering where it was at. Of course, hooded cloak of olive brown. The garb of those accused of lesser crimes indicated by the color of sharpened branches. That's what we're going to wear now. I like how it's got a brown, I guess, but I kind of like how a coloration kind of fits a little bit. Actually, the robe color reminds me a little bit of the worm-faced creatures. Now there is somebody we have not checked in with over here. It's the Dung Eater. Because we've gotten his little curse things. What have you got to say about that, Dung Eater?
No. Wait. You have felt the curse.
I guess so.
I can smell it on you. Box, yet tender. Apparently my seedbed is ripe and waiting.
Gross.
It was a brief respite, I must say. Go and unshackle my corporeal flesh, trapped in the sewer jail below the capital.
Hey, a key.
I can kill you and defile your corpse. Then the pox will truly be your own.
I don't know that I want that.
Go and unshackle my trapped in. I can kill
Okay. You're trapping these in the sewers. What else is in the sewers? Omen. What of his seedbed curses seem to have ties with Omen. Alright, so we're going to go look for Dung Eater real quick. I don't know that we're going to really talk about many things in here, unless something, I guess, kind of comes up. But for the most part, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. You got omens. They have horns, which means that they are of royal family, right? Royal blood, which is why the horns have not been excised. And there's a jail cell down in here. And we're going to go free the old Dung Eater. Good for us. One thing about these sewers, they are very, very... Yeah, see, I knew you were going to do that, but, like, I also thought maybe I could just walk through it and be fine. They're very, like, kind of confusing. There's a lot going on. Oh, please don't knock me off this. Oh, look, an item! Lots of bodies. This is looking good. What's behind here? Jail cells. Oh, fingers, though. Some other crazy sounds happening here while we deal with hands. Oh.
Let me out. Let me out of here.
Oh boy, it's crazy.
Must eat more. Defile more. Everything that matters to you for generations to come. I am the Dung Eater, a scourge upon the living.
Okay. Hey, friend. Friggin' Boggart shared a cell with his friggin' lunatic.
Who are you?
Leave your jail.
I've been here long enough. I will kill again. And defile each corpse with care. Just to be sure that when they're reborn, they'll be cursed. Along with their children. And their children's children. For all time to come.
Awesome. So he doesn't remember us, even though we talked to his, like, spirit, right? And that whole speech thing, like, why is he so mad at everybody? But it's just like the speech in the DLC, the Old Hunters DLC for Bloodborne. He's like, and their children.
And default just to be sure they'll be cursed.
Yeah, so, like, no, reading the thing, it was like it prevents their soul from returning to the Erd Tree, but they'll still be reborn, I guess. But they'll just be cursed in some fashion. So, how is that going to work? Now we'll go back to the Round Table Hold. We'll see if he has anything to say still. Ooh, a message. I'll defile you next. Come to the outer moat. No! Boggart, man. No.
Serves me right.
Oh, we did this.
For a jumped up little shit with big ideas.
Just let me die. I don't want to live like this. Not anymore. So, please.
Oh, Boggart, man. It's awful. I mean, we did. I mean, obviously, letting the dude out was an awful choice. Iron Ball, Blackguard's Iron Mask, and there's the fucking Dung Eater. Oh, look at that. Oh, and there's a crab. Ah, spewing out Death Blight. No, thank you. Ah! Stop it, crab. I'm busy. Ooh. The crab killed me. The crab got me. I was too busy panic rolling away. Where's the Steak America at? Has there always been one right there? It's really convenient of it. Alright, come get one. Come get some, jerk. Yeah, are you? Ooh. Look at that battle. So it's a war cry, but it had like that black yellow curse flame like Margaret does, or Morgott. And the other Omen. But see, he's not an Omen though. Get out of here, bug. This isn't your fight. Now his armor, like when you look at it though, what are all these things that are on it, right? They're probably supposed to be like the cut off horns of Omen. Stupid crab is back. Thanks, crab. Sword of Milos. A sinister greatsword fashioned from a giant's backbone meets out wounds like a lopsided saw blade and restores some FP upon defeating an enemy. Milos was undersized for a giant and was viewed as sullied and terribly grotesque. The shriek of Milos lets out a horrific cursed scream that reduces all damage negation and status resistances for nearby foes, and then it becomes, you know, combo attacks for your strong attacks. It's a pretty cool weapon. I do actually really like it. Look at the design on it. But then you see just bony, spiky stuff to it. Blackguard's Iron Mask. An iron mask forced on convicted prisoners, worn by Blackguard Big Boggart. To Boggart, the mask made him all the more threatening and helped him get what he wanted. But it was also a mirror of his emptiness. Yeah, I mean, it's really... Boggart's story is kind of tragic in general, right? Because, I mean, he was a prisoner dude, obviously, right? But, like, what did he really do? Like, maybe he did do something awful, and that's why he was, like, in the same cell as freaking Dung Eater. Or maybe it was just happenstance. Maybe he was, like, kind of a minor crime, kind of like ours. But, like, he has an iron mask on as opposed to the guilty hood. Because the guilty hood says, garb of those accused of lesser crimes, indicated by the collar of sharpened branches, right? He had a full iron mask on. So, you know, who knows exactly what he did, per se. And then he never took it off because it helped him get what he wanted, right? And it seemed he primarily did it, though. He did it through intimidation, right? Like, when we show up, he's like, hey, you want to start something? You know, back off this and that. But then once you just kind of talk to him, work with him, he's generally pretty chill, you know? And what does he do? It's not like he's going around and, like, robbing people. I mean, I guess he did take this thing from Raya, so maybe he is kind of like a thief or robber of some kind. But he goes around and he just cooks prawn and crab, right? He's just making food, dude. And he didn't ask for this, right? Why did they choose me, he says, you know? Why did they pick a nobody like me to go and, like, try and fix the Elden Ring and become Elden Lord? Like, really? Like, this is who you pick? You know? Let's take a look at the Iron Ball now. Iron Man for a spherical shape. Yep, that's pretty much it. Just a thing. It's got a braggart's roar. Braggarts are typically people who just boast and boast, right? Yeah, so it is a real shame. I mean, I don't know. I wonder what he was trying to do, right? Because he came all the way up here for something, right? He was out along this place. And he started way down in the Lyranny of the lakes. He helped us fight the magma worm. And then he came up to the plateau. Like, was he secretly, did he have some, like, actual aspirations that he could potentially, like, do things? That he could actually fulfill the role? Or was he just kind of, like, moving along, kind of following the only trail he had left to him? Like, I don't know. Who knows? Ooh, Dung Eater. What do you have to say? Anything?
There you are. You warded off my blessing.
Sure did.
Despite the curse stirring within you.
I don't think it is.
No one has succeeded in that before. How? I thought. Then it hit me that you are, in fact, me. And I am the Dung Eater. It is my flesh that must receive the blessing.
Okay.
Give me your blessing. Defile my flesh with the seedbed curse. Again and again. Until it is done. Until a cursed ring coalesces. And may one day defile order itself. Countless I have killed. And countless I have defiled. And soon the fruits will be born. Hundreds will be reborn cursed. And they'll bear thousands of cursed children, who bear tens of thousands more. A few of those will be born just like me, and they'll kill and defile and bless in my stead. The rotten fools. My fate was the grandest, most brilliant of them all.
Yeah, he really has it out for the world.
Corporeal flesh lies in the sewer jail beneath the capital. Give it your blessing. Defile my flesh with the seedbed curse, until a curse ring coalesces that may one day defile order itself.
Alright. Let's give it a go. And there he is, tied up to his own chair. How did he tie himself up like that, man? The boots have like little toes too.
A curse upon them all.
It's like hair coming off his armor.
Along with their children. And their children's children. For all time to come.
Use a seedbed curse. Now, it's interesting. See, that sun piece I thought was just like a medallion part of like his whole setup. But it's part of like a collary manacle, right? And inside that like little slit in his armor, you can just vaguely make out a face. Now, we had like 3 of those seedbed curses, right? Do we consume them all? We might have consumed them all.
Curse you, Golden Order. One day, you'll get what's coming.
All right. Well, that's where we're going to call it for now. Yeah. Next one, we'll finish the rest of the catacombs. Thank you guys for joining me. Fun little things and secrets and stuff. Good stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. Until the next one, take care.